section as a freshman because you're not going to get like any, like, you get booted out first. They push you back.
Well, no, the student section, the freshman is G.
I'm Alex Worth alongside Ian Nelson and Britton Morrow. We're excited to bring you live 5A football matchup between the Dowling Catholic Maroons and the Valley Tigers, a number 1 versus number 6 matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. Beautiful night for some football. Got the number 1 seed versus the 6th seed. Going to be a great game. In-town rivalry. Just love to see it. Beautiful time for some football. We got some great players on both sides just ready to battle out to see who's going to get bragging rights for the rest of the year.
It's two of the best football programs in the state of Iowa. These are what these players and coaches prepare for all year. These types of games. This is a huge rivalry. It should be a great game.
Yeah, last year it was regular season game not close at all. Dowling destroyed Valley 35-3. In the playoffs, semifinals, the Tigers upset the Maroons 22-21, going for a 2-point conversion late in the game. So look for that same energy to be brought here tonight.
Yeah, the playoff game was crazy, and you can see both teams probably out for blood this game. Dowling's want to have some revenge from the playoffs because they feel like they could have beaten Southeast Polk in the championship game. And then we got Valley over here who's trying to get some regular season mojo back after not winning against them for a couple years now.
Yeah, and Valley last week lost to Southeast Polk. They were ranked number 1 at the time. Dowling taking the number 1 spot this week. Southeast Polk beat the Tigers 24-18. A lot early on in the game. The Tigers' offense just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, and we talked with Willie Thorne, the defensive coordinator for the Tigers, and he said that he was extremely pleased with how the defensive line battled one of the best offensive lines in the state. They were pleased with how well they tackled as a group, but they just want them to work on communication a little bit more and how to prevent breakdowns. They struggle with that a lot, with just the defense getting worn out, getting tired, breaking down under the pressure of how good the Southeast Polk offense was against them, and they were just quick, fast, and wearing them down and looking for the wears and tears and just ripping right through those holes.
I thought that front seven played really well for the Tigers last week. Allowed 4.7 yards per carry, but it's going to be a whole nother ball game. Dowling running back, star running back Rashad Davis rushed for 4 touchdowns on the ground last week against Cedar Rapids Kennedy. So it's going to be a whole new test for this front seven. Big key to the game is to stop the run.
Yeah, and then Rashad Davis also had a kick return touchdown. So he accounted for all 5 of the Catholics' touchdowns last week. So, yeah, that was against a pretty good Cedar Rapids Kennedy team. I think ranked 7th in the state. I talked to Coach Tom Wilson. He said that it was very difficult for the team playing on a Saturday, driving 2 hours and beating a top 10 team. And he thought that his kids played really well and that he was proud that they were able to come out with a win.
Yeah, you don't see too many Saturday games, but those guys prove that they will be able to play Saturdays in college. They played tremendously against a pretty good Cedar Rapids Kennedy team out in Cedar Rapids. And, of course, they're not as big as the teams down here in the metro. But going out, driving 2.5 hours with some of the delay, some of the fatigue of driving 2 hours and then being able to perform like they did, a 38-21 victory is a big victory for Dowling. And they're looking to, I guess, capitalize after that, but Valley is hoping to, with the big black D, to stop that.
Yeah. Dowling, it was a great offensive game. Something that Coach Tom Wilson said is that they need to get better at defending the pass. They gave up 269 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns against Kennedy. The Tigers last week, they weren't great on offense. They were able to get some methodical yardage, but nothing too crazy. So it should be a little bit easier for the Maroons, but look for the Tigers to come out passing the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, what I was really impressed with watching that Dowling Cedar Rapids Kennedy game was senior quarterback Dante Caltado stepping in after Jackson Smolik graduated, going to Penn State, and he threw only 13 passes but completed 11 of them. And I thought he was really composed in his first ever start, and we'll look to see if he can do it again in a tougher game, tougher environment.
Yeah, and then on the other side, you have Trevor Willett, who is looking like going to be the starter for the Tigers this game. He came out in the 4th quarter after being the backup to Kevin Jewell, and Jewell was just unable to not do as well as the Tigers coaches hoped for, and so Willett came in and he did really well, starting off first drive, scoring a touchdown. It was just a little too late for the Tigers, and they're hoping that they can. The receivers, we got Jaden McGregory to have a better game than he did the first game and go against his Dowling Catholic cornerbacks and just hoping to get some more touchdowns.
Yeah, that was something. Caleb Jewell was in a similar spot with Dante Cataldo. Last year, Michael Provenza came in for the Tigers, and Jewell was the third-string quarterback. And so he had the experience on the sideline, but he got onto the field. They weren't as aggressive. They were playing really conservative football, passing it short, doing power runs, little screen passes. So look for, depending on who they start at quarterback, we still don't really know. It's looking like it'll probably be Trevor Willett. He started last year at Oskaloosa, has a little bit more experience than Jewell. So look for them to maybe take a few more deep shots early on in the game rather than being behind and needing to gain those big yardage plays really quickly.
Absolutely. I think last week we saw a lot of ineffective short runs, a lot of short passes, wide receiver screens, and all that. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. I think either way, this offensive coaching staff needs to take a couple more deep shots. Whether they work or not, it's just going to open up the defense and make those runs more effective, and the short passes will hopefully work after that.
Yeah, Damon Head for the Tigers, he had pretty good production, nowhere close to Rashad Davis by any means, but he had a 28-yard touchdown run. He had 10 rushing attempts. Last year, early on in the year, he didn't really get a whole lot of those attempts, splitting it with Darius Mason. But last week, as the senior, he showed that his experience, he showed his prowess in the backfield.
Yeah, and it looks like the Tigers are going to get the ball first. The Catholics are kicking off first, and we're ready to start a football game.
This environment is electric.
You can tell the student section, we almost have 2 student sections full of Tiger fans. We have about a student section and a half for the Maroons, and Andrew Schumacher gets ready to kick it off for Dowling. A high kick going towards the end zone, caught in the end zone by Isaiah Pinks for a touchback. So the Tigers will get the ball at the 20-yard line. Dowling kicking with the wind there. It's blowing to the north. Not too strong, but it could definitely, have some trouble with the kickers.
Yeah, and
it looks like it's going to be number 5, Caleb Jewell, getting the start, I think, which is a little bit surprising after he got benched for Trevor Willett last week. Yep, it's going to be Caleb Jewell. So that's interesting.
But you have to assume that he's on a short leash. It's not necessarily that if he plays bad he gets benched, but if he's not doing enough, he could get pulled out of the game, and Willett could come in. Damon Head is in the backfield for the Tigers with Caleb Jewell. Wide receivers in close. Man in motion is Jaden Brown. Handoff to Damon Head. He is wrapped up in the backfield quickly by the Maroons.
That's number 21, Kaveh Forth, the senior. That's a great start for the Dowling Catholics. If they can stop this run game, they're going to really have to force Caleb Jewell to make some tough throws. That's a great sign.
Yeah, that was a loss of 2 there. You could tell Kiwi Fort got straight into the backfield right away.
And
great job by the Maroons linebacker.
That's one thing that Valley's going to struggle on, and they did with last week. They have a kind of small O-line compared to some of these really big D-lines. Like we saw Southeast Polk and now Dowling. They have humongous D-line players that can just easily shoot right through the gaps.
Now Jewell rolling out to his right. All receivers downfield. Breaks through a tackle, and he'll be brought down at the 26-yard line for a pickup of, looks like 8 yards. Nice little run there from Jewell.
It's a decent sign early. Just seeing him get out of the pocket and make a play with his leg shows he's developing a little bit of confidence, because, you get benched. It's definitely tough on your confidence to come back, even though if you're getting to start the next week, you're on a short leash. Just go out and make some plays.
And the ball's actually at the 21-yard line, 22-yard line, but it was a great run by Jewell to find the gap, shoot right through, and pick back some needed yardage. 3rd and long now is a tough pill to swallow.
And pass deflected away by Jacob Kruger for the Maroons.
Jacob Kruger is a senior. Last week at 4.5 tackles. He's really elite, and that's a great 3-and-out to start this game off for the Dowling Catholic Maroons, and not a good sign for the Valley Tigers. We'll see how short of a leash Caleb Jewell's on.
Yeah, you could tell that Jewell might have rushed his progressions a little bit. His receiver was pretty well covered. So now it will be a 3-and-out for the Tigers. Jewell, actually the punter as well for the team.
And you saw that a lot last week. Jewell was the punter, but then again, you also saw a lot of punts that really killed the Tigers' offense. They were unable to get much going on offense, and they punted a lot. They had almost like 7 punts that entire game out of only maybe 10 or so possessions, which is not what you want for the Tigers.
One thing to look out for here for the Dowling offense, we know about Rashad Davis on the ground, but Dante Calzado out of the backfield is extremely mobile. They'll throw in design quarterback runs, and I mean, he's a great 1-2 punch with Rashad Davis on the ground. Valley's going to have to stop that run game.
So a fair catch was called for at the Tigers' 47-yard line. So Dante Cataldo will come out with the Maroons offense. 5 wide receivers. Cataldo alone in the backfield. Cataldo drops back, looks to his left, throws it. Quick pass, pushed out of bounds. That was complete to Trey Wilson, the junior wide receiver.
I expect Trey Wilson to have a monster year this year. Had 3 catches in the first game. I expect that production to go up, and we see with the first play going right to him.
It looks like they will mark that as a pickup of 6 yards. A nice quick little action play. Wilson on the smaller side. He's only 5'8", 165, but he does have pretty good speed.
Yeah, one thing you saw this, the defense really shot right through, and if Dante Cataldo wouldn't have got it off, he would have been rocked.
Cataldo gets a throw over the middle. That was to Matthew Corner, the senior wide receiver. Gets it up to the 21-yard line. A solid pickup there for the Maroons.
And that was a great read by Dante Cataldo, just finding the open receiver, finding the holes through the valley corners, and just shooting it right through the gap. Beautiful pass, and find a good 20-yard reception.
So now 2 wide receivers out right for the Maroons. Rashad Davis in the backfield with Dante Cataldo. Cataldo will hand it off to Davis, who has gap down the left side. He breaks a tackle. He will get into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Just under 10 minutes left to play here in the first quarter, and the Maroons are already on the board.
Yeah, and that's a terrible sign for the Tigers. This offense struggled. They really needed their defense to come out and make a statement on this first drive. You know, one thing I'm looking, this secondary is really good. Andrew Price, Gage Olson, Cam Kabari, and they got dotted up on 2 pass plays before that rushing touchdown for Rashad Davis.
Yeah, it looked like the Maroons stacked the right side with wide receivers, moved the secondary over to that side, had Davis had great blocking there, and he had a pretty open lane there.
And that's one good thing that the O-line is great at, is just finding, pushing open, and making holes for Rashad Davis to get through. That's why you saw him so great last week. He scored 4 touchdowns on offense and was able to just find the gaps and get so many untouched touchdowns. That is one thing that Valley's going to need to fill those big holes so that Rashad Davis can't get anything. Like Britton said, stop the run is the key for the Tigers defense.
Yeah. Point after attempt good there from Dowling kicker Andrew Schumacher. So now the Maroons up 7-0. 9:58 left to go in the first quarter. Definitely not ideal for the Tigers after a 3-and-out and then a quick touchdown.
Oh, not at all, not at all. One thing with Rashad Davis, he's definitely a big and strong runner, but I think we saw there, he just slips off tackles so easily. His recognition of what cuts to make and what holes to go through is just elite. And he's picking up right where he left off last week with a big touchdown on the first drive for the Maroons.
So now the Tigers looking to get slightly better field position. Last year they were stuck in their own red zone, couldn't really get much moving. So look for a decent return here. Craycraft and Pinks are back for the Tigers to return.
Pinks and Craycraft were the guys that took it out a lot, and you hope that, and I think they're hoping that they can get some better returns than they did last week, and you can see it on their faces before this game that they're ready for a good game, ready for some good returns.
So now Schumacher gets a line drive left side. Looks like that will go into the end zone for a touchback. So it will be Tiger football again at the 20-yard line.
With 9:58 left to play in this first quarter, there's still a lot of time for a ton to happen in this first quarter. The game has just started, so the Tigers need to just see that touchdown, get it out of their head, not let it bother them, and just get back to what they know how to do, is to play aggressive football, to get down the field and score. And you saw even last week, once they took all the bad negativity out of their heads, they were able to score and get some great plays on offense. So you just hope to see that they can take away all of that Dowling pressure and score.
So now the Tigers, 2 guys out left. A.J. Crown over in the backfield as fullback. Damon Head pushes forward, can't get much there. Maybe about a yard on the carry.
As I said coming in, man, I just want to see Valley take some shots. This run game early on, I know it's only been 2 carries, it's just not working. I want to see a little play action, deep ball, open up this Dowling defense, because if I'm the Dowling defensive coordinator and I watched last week's game, I mean, I know exactly what's coming. Short throws, runs up the middle. And, I mean, it's not a good start whatsoever for the Valley Tigers offense.
Yeah, so it'll be 2nd and 9 from the 21-yard line. 3 wide receivers out left for the Tigers.
Jaden Brown just came in, the sophomore, who had a great game last week as a sophomore.
Jewell gets the throw off, overthrows A.J. Crown over towards the right side, and a flag will be thrown as it looks like he was hit late, and he is in pain. He took his helmet off quick, holding his hamstring, it looks like. So we will be right back after this injury timeout. We just saw Caleb Jewell take a nasty hit there. He had to be carried off the field by the athletic trainers, so obviously not ideal for him. But it does look like there will be a roughing the passer call on the Maroons. So that is, it's unfortunate for the Tigers that Caleb Jewell got hurt, but this might be the break that they need to get some yardage.
Yeah, and that's one thing you hate to see as a football fan, seeing a great quarterback, a young quarterback who's just wanting to play, get hit super hard. You just hate to see it, but now we'll see Trevor Willett come out, and hopefully he can do what he did last week at the end.
So the Tigers will go with 3 wide receivers out left in bunch formation. Damon Head still in the game in the backfield with Willett. They'll have the ball at the 36-yard line, 1st and 10. Still 9:12 left to go in the first quarter. So far, it's been a very slow start to the game. Willett takes the snap. He hands it off to Damon Head, who breaks up through the middle, breaks a shoestring tackle, and is brought down at the 43-yard line. Good pickup there of 7 yards.
Well, yeah, not the circumstance you want to see a quarterback change whatsoever, but maybe that can install some life into this Tigers team. Trevor Willett in one drive last week led a touchdown drive at the very end. It was too little too late against the Southeast Polk Rams. However, we'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, Willett did start last year for Oskaloosa, so he has that leadership presence around him. Our thoughts go with Caleb Jewell, though. He was plagued with injuries, breaking his ankle twice last year, so we hope that he's okay. So the Tigers will send A.J. Crown over in motion, left side of the line. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Willett drops back, throws it. Damon Head trips up. Looks like it would have been a pretty good pass there to Damon Head. He had some room around him, but got caught up on the turf.
I think, yeah, back to your point about Trevor Willett starting for Oskaloosa last year. As a junior, 135 completions on 257 attempts, over 1,400 passing yards. So, I mean, whether the stats are good or not, it's just a matter of varsity experience. He has it. Caleb Jewell doesn't. We'll see if that can play a factor going forward.
Yeah, we'll see if the Tigers now take some more shots now that they have their veteran quarterback in. 3 wide receivers out left. Ball is at the right hash mark. Willett takes it, throws a screen pass out left to his running back, Darius Mason, who's tripped up a yard short of the line to gain, up to the 45-yard line.
We'll see how aggressive Gary Swenson is here, head coach. It's 4th and 1, but you don't want to let this game get away from you early.
And it looks like they will go for it here on 4th and 1. Just over 8 minutes left to play. Also, you have to think, Caleb Jewell was their punter. And if he hurt his leg, they might have to have Rico Alvarenga-Cervellan do the punting for them. So 1 yard to go here. Everybody playing in close. And will get the first down, looks like, on the quarterback sneak.
Actually, it looks like he might have been short.
I don't know.
Depends on the call. From our angle, it looked like he got forward. And they will motion to move the chains. Good, strong running there from Trevor Willett.
And that's just some quality 4th and 1 offense. You bring out all the big guys and bring out the quarterback in the backfield and just push. You push as hard as you can, bring out the fullback to push the quarterback through, and just get that yard, and now come back and play and get, hopefully, a touchdown. No matter what team you are, after a 4th and 1, you don't want to get 4th down again.
So now the Tigers will do a jet sweep to Jaden Brown, who pushes through, bulldozes a defender, and will pick up 3 yards there on the jet sweep.
I'm interested to see what these Valley receivers look like today. Jaden McGregory, the sophomore, 4-star, only had 1 catch last week, while Jaden Brown, also a sophomore, had 3. And there's his first catch today. That's interesting. I think they need to get McGregory more involved. And it goes back to that point, just taking more shots, just throw him the football, honestly. Get your playmakers out in space. We'll see if Willett can do that.
Yeah, I think both the guys that you just mentioned, McGregory and Brown, have great athleticism, so using them in the run game, using like jet touch passes, jet sweeps, I think any way that you can get those guys involved will help. So now Willett under center, he'll hand it off to Head, who dodges right side and will be barreled forward to the 47-yard line of the Maroons.
Early on, this Dowling run defense looks absolutely stout. Last week allowed 96 rushing yards on 22 attempts to Cedar Rapids, which is only 4.4 yards per carry. I mean, that's elite stats, and it's showing the same thing here tonight so far.
And that's one thing that the Valley Tigers offensive coordinator Kevin Ferguson said, that they were just hoping to get some greater first down gains and converting more on 3rd down. And you'll see that here. It's a 3rd and 3. He's hoping that they can convert more and not have to go into those risky 4th and 1 situations.
So now 2 wide receivers out right, 1 left. 3rd and 3, under 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. To Darius Mason, who it looks like he will pick up the first down. Very close. Gets it by about half a yard.
Another crucial third down pickup for the big time. Darius Mason got a lot of playing time last year, now entering his junior season, splits in the backfield with Damon Head. Big 3rd down back, picks it up there, does his job.
Yeah, Darius Mason and Head, like you mentioned, they split reps last year. Mason got more. He did deal with some injuries last year. You could see him do really good in the first half, and then second half he'd be cramping up, have injuries. So look for Head to take on a more leadership role in the backfield. So now the Tigers stacking the left side. They hand it off, and a timeout will be called. Looked like the play clock was running down. And so they called a timeout to avoid the delay of game penalty.
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far out of Trevor Willett in this Tigers offense. I mean, his first drive, and they're moving the chains slowly but surely. A first down on the Dowling Catholic 43-yard line, so it's a good drive so far.
Yeah, and this is where you want to be if you're the Tigers. If you have to punt, you're going to pin them back pretty deep. And you want them to have to pick up as many yards as possible. You don't want to give them the ball at the 45 at your 45-yard line if you're the Tigers.
And one thing that Valley is doing really well is they are milking this clock. Like, you might not think about it early on in this game, but they started the ball with pretty much 10 minutes at 9:59 remaining in the first quarter, and now we're halfway through the first quarter with 5:43. That's about a 4.5 minute switch, and that could be crucial down the line. If Valley can continue doing these 4, 5, 7 minute chunks of time on the field, could take down a serious clock, and that might just be what the Tigers need to succeed in this game.
There's 5:43 left to play in the first quarter. Dowling up 7-0 on the Tigers. Tigers playing with a close offense again. They have 4 receivers. Willett drops back, sends it into the middle, and it's dropped by his receiver, Jaden McGregory. That was something last week. McGregory wide open downfield, hit him in the stomach, and he dropped it. That's not ideal. It was in the middle of the field. There's a lot that can go wrong if you drop it in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and you wonder if it's still just those new team jitters that he's struggling with, because you saw quite a few drop passes that could have been the difference last week, and that was the crucial. He had open field to go and just drops it. So you wonder if young man out there will hopefully just deal with those jitters and be able to continue on with great stats.
Willett drops back to throw, looks right side, gets it complete towards the sideline to Noah Craycraft. That's at the 38-yard line.
And going back to that point about milking the clock, you want to slow down this Dowling rushing attack. Sometimes the best defense is your offense. If you can go on these long drives, you're keeping the ball out of Calzado and Davis's hands, and that's another big-time second down conversion to set up third and manageable.
And it's also allowing for the defense to get a breather, because that's one thing that the Valley Tigers defense struggled on last week. They were tired. The Tigers offense was unable to spend a lot of time out there, and the Tigers defense just did not have enough stamina.
Two wide receivers out left for the Tiger. They got a fullback back there with Damon Head. Damon Head will get the ball. He'll run left side. He will pick up the first down, it looks like. He'll be piled up at the 32-yard line. That's enough for a first down.
And it all starts on that second down, 6-yard completion to Noah Craycraft. I think you saw last week a lot of second and longs, and you don't get a positive play, so it sets up third and long, where Valley definitely that's not their strong suit. You get a good gain on second down, and it sets up third and manageable, where they can run the football down the middle and pick up enough yards to pick up a first down.
And it looks like Caleb Jewell is on the sideline. He has an ice pack on his knee, and he is on crutches, so it's safe to say that he is out for the game. Hopefully he is okay, but we'll see how Trevor Willett does for the rest of the game. So 3 wide receivers left, 1 right for the Tigers. Willett drops back, looks up the middle, has space, tucks it, runs. He'll be tackled quickly. Looks like he'll pick up, they'll say no gain. You can see he had a little bit of space up and to the left of him, didn't really go for it soon enough, and was tackled.
Took too much time waiting. Like, that's one thing Valley kind of is struggling on. They have waited too long, and it's caused them to get sacked a couple times and just not find the open receivers. Like, I can see waiting for the open receiver, but they were just struggling with. He had a bunch of room to run, but he just waited too long and allowed the defense to catch up to him.
It's now 2nd and 10 from the 32-yard line for the Tigers. Pressure coming. Willett is sacked quickly in the backfield, back at the 39-yard line. Great pass rush there from the Maroons.
That was number 98, Dylan Manning, the junior, led the team with 7.5 tackles last week, and he's on the same page there. One thing I will say I want to see Valley's offense do a little bit better of a job of is get the tight ends utilized. Both junior Zach Skemfer and senior A.J. Crownover, neither one had a catch last week, and neither has a catch so far in this one. We'll see if they can change that.
So now the Tigers stacking the left side with 3 wide receivers. Ball is in the middle of the field. Head is in the backfield with Willett. Willett takes the snap, has time, rolls out to his right, looks downfield, pressure coming, and he'll be wrapped down again for a loss of 3 yard lines out of bounds. So that will bring up 4th down for the Tigers.
And that's just what I brought up. He waited a little too long. He was hoping that number 88, A.J. Crownover, was going to be able to break his man, but he was unable to and just held it. And when he was about to run, the defense for the Maroons just found him and brought him down very quickly.
So now the Tigers will be punting here. 4th and 21. Back-to-back sacks for Dowling Catholic. Rico Alvarenga-Cervelin will be the punter now for the Tigers. Looks like he'll be kicking from his own 45-yard line. Ball is at the Dowling 43. Alvarenga gets a high punt off. Looks like it will bounce and go and picked up at the 21-yard line by Jaden Brown. So now it will be Dowling Catholic football, this time from the 21-yard line after the Tigers stalled out there.
Going back to that last play, that last drive, it looked to be like a group sack on that 3rd down play of Trevor Willett, but Dylan Manning, number 98, involved again. After such a good first game, he's coming out with 1.5 sacks so far. I mean, he's an absolute force to be reckoned with so far from the looks of it.
And this Dowling defensive line, they started 3 sophomores last week, and they rotated several inexperienced players. So they're doing a good job of making those big plays, stopping the run early.
And then the Tigers used 16 plays almost. And they were just unable to convert.
Cataldo takes the snap. He pushes forward. QB sneak. He'll be wrapped down at the 27-yard line.
That's one of those designed quarterback runs that it's talked about pregame. It's so difficult to manage as a defense when you know they have such an elite running back in Rashad Davis, but the quarterback can also run. It's just another thing to look out for, and when they have those elite receivers on the outside, such a tough offense to stop.
So it will be 2nd and 2 from the 28-yard line. 2 wide receivers out right. Rashad Davis is in the backfield with Cataldo. Just over 2.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Cataldo, he will hand it off to Davis. Has a little bit of room, and he'll be wrapped down at the 35 for a pickup of 7.
That patience is excellent. You know, I've watched high school football for several years. I don't know if I've seen a running back with more patience to find what holes to go through than Rashad Davis. I mean, he just looks like a college/pro runner, man.
You can tell on those blocks, his offensive line in front of him is very good. Left tackle Kyle Rakers committed to Kansas State. You could tell Davis, he's waiting behind his blockers, like you mentioned, really waiting to find the right gap. So now Cataldo will hand it off to Davis again, who will break up the middle, and he will be pushed forward, and he'll be stopped at the 42-yard line, piled up there. Good job by the Tigers to get in there.
Yeah, back on your point of Kyle Rakers, he's the 12th ranked recruit in Iowa, and then the 72nd ranked 2024 O-lineman in the nation. First team All-State last year, and you could just see his commitment and use for this team, allowing for more holes for Rashad Davis.
So now the Maroons going with 3 wide receivers outright. Davis in the backfield with Cataldo. Cataldo takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Pressure coming from Castle. Throw is off, and it's caught over the midfield. That is caught by Matthew Corner again. Gets it up to near the 40-yard line of the Tigers, and will get it out at the 36.
Matthew Porter had 0 catches last week. That just shows the depth of this receiving core. It's a tough situation to be in if you're the Tigers because, you know, you go on a long drive that last possession, but then it stalls with 2 straight sacks. You don't get any points, and now Dowling's driving again to look to take a 2-score lead.
And that was a good job by Castle there. He rushed quickly on the blind side. If Cataldo would have held on to that a little bit longer, he would have been sacked.
Yeah, they just flipped the field from the 42 now to the 36. That was a great catch by Corner.
So now 3 wide receivers left for the Maroons. Cataldo, he will fake the handoff, look left side, airs it out. It's caught. Wide open man is Hank Brown. And that'll be down at the 14-yard line for the Tigers. 2 great methodical passes there from the Maroons.
To be quite honest, he was wide open, and we've seen that multiple times. You know, I spoke about how good this Valley secondary was earlier, but you have mostly juniors there, while Dowling has a lot of senior receivers, including Hank Brown, so maybe it's a lack of experience for the Tigers.
So now 1st down and 10 from the 14-yard line. Just over a minute left to play in the first quarter. Dowling up 7-0 on the Tigers. All receivers out to the right side for the Maroons. Cataldo, he will keep it, and he is sacked quickly, and the ball is loose, and the Tigers have it. That is the break that the Tigers needed.
Oh my gosh, that was a great play. The defense just snuck right in there and ripped the ball out. And this crowd is electric. The Tigers are going wild right now.
Exactly what they needed to force a turnover there. They're still in this game.
A great job by the D-line there. There was easily 2 to 3 guys back there.
Yeah, number 15, Trey Wilson, was running up the seam. He was wide open. If they didn't get that pressure as quick as they did, that would have been a touchdown. But that's a crucial play for this Tigers D.
That is what the Tigers needed. 58 seconds left. They will have the ball on their own 17-yard line. After a good methodical drive last time out, it stalled out in Dowling territory. So look for them to do better here.
And that is exactly what these coaches for the Tigers wanted. Just the big, strong defense ripping right through.
So now we'll hand it off to Head, who's running left side. He has some space. He'll get brought down from behind, 1 yard short of the line to gain. Good speed running there from Damon Head. brought down by Jacob Kruger.
You're seeing some holes start to open up for Damon Head. Last week, really, 10 carries, 46 yards. Not a great stat line, but the last couple rushes, he's had some decent gains.
Yeah, Damon Head's one touchdown last week, a 28-yard touchdown rush. That was the Tigers' first touchdown of the game. You could tell that he had those gaps. He's good at seeing those, using his speed to manipulate those and get there before the defenders.
That was a beautiful run for the Tigers.
So now from the left hash mark, 1 yard to go. Willett takes the snap. He'll hand it off to Head again, who powers forward, gets the first down, and he'll be swallowed up not much after the line to gain. Pickup of 3 for the Tigers.
And one thing you can see is number 50, Cole Weibel, for the Tigers defense, is just walking around with the turnover hammer. And he is just a great player for the Tigers to have. Senior defensive tackle, 6 foot 224. He is a key player for the Tigers, a key motivator for this young Tiger defense up and coming.
Yeah, and we will now get to the end of the first quarter. Scores Dowling 7, Tigers nothing. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Okay. Okay. How many viewers do we have? Welcome back to Valley Stadium. I'm Alex Worth alongside Britton Morrow and Ian Nelson. We have a pretty good game here. Tigers just kind of turned the tide there on the Maroons after forcing a fumble and picking up a first down. They have the ball at their own 29-yard line to start the second quarter.
Yeah, the Tigers are looking to capitalize after that humongous turnover on their own 17-yard line. Now they're all the way over to the, looks like about the 34-yard line. The 34-yard line. They're hoping to get some big plays.
Yeah, and that drive from the Maroons could have gone terribly for the Tigers. It looked like they were going to score. They had the momentum. So great job by that defensive line to force that fumble. So now the Tigers will start with it at their own 29-yard line. 2 wide receivers out right. A.J. Crownover in motion to the left. Darius Mason in the backfield. He will get the handoff. A few blockers in front of him. He will be tumbled forward to the 33-yard line. Flag is thrown on the play.
And to your point earlier, you said Damon Head had a 28-yard touchdown last week. If you take that away, that's 9 carries for 16 yards, which is less than 2 yards per carry. So I know that was Darius Mason with the carry. This run game wasn't great last week, and I think we've seen some great runs so far in this game.
And that was something when they played Southeast Polk. Southeast Polk was the opposite. They were getting 5-yard rushes, one after the other, not giving the Valley defense any break. It looks like it will be a holding call on the Tigers, pushing them back after that short gain. They will be at the 19-yard line now. Now bring up 1st and 20.
Tough spot for the Tigers because, you know, they like to drive methodically. We'll see if this can open up the playbook here.
We'll go with 3 wide receivers outright, bringing their tight end A.J. Crownover on the left side of the line. Mason is still in the backfield with Willett. Willett looks to his right, throws it short to Mason. Ball is down
backwards.
On the ground.
That's a fumble.
And they'll call it an incomplete pass.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. It looked backwards to me. But
it was definitely close. I'm not a huge fan of that play call to begin with. It's 1st and 20, and you're throwing a screen pass.
They've done that multiple times in this game, and I mean, you saw it a lot last week. How easy is it as a defense to scout that, and they come out and have ran it multiple times, and we just started the second quarter. I mean, yeah, open it up.
And Dowling read that. They were back there quick. Mason, if he caught it, he would have been tackled for a loss. So now the Tigers will look to do better on this play.
That's a great break from the Tigers.
Willett steps forward, throws.
Intercepted.
No, they will call incomplete. They will say it hit the ground. It was almost picked off by senior defensive back Kenny James. That was not a great read there from Willett. he had two guys pretty close to each other. Both were heavily guarded.
You could see he just tried to force that right through to an unopened target. He had two guys there that were triple cover and combined, and I think Willett is just trying to force something because it was second and long, now it's third and long, and you're trying to get something after a great turnover. You don't want to give them good field position, so you're trying to get the first down. But it's just not working, and you don't want to force a pass like that. At second down, you might want to do a short pass or a run.
So now the Tigers will run it just to keep it safe. Damon Head gets a pretty good pickup there. Gets to the 31-yard line. Still about 8 yards short of where it needed to be for the first down, but that'll give the Tigers some more breathing room on the punt.
I think we're seeing how disciplined this Maroon defense is. A lot of times, Willett's gone out in the pocket and pump faked a couple times. He can't get the ball out. It's because none of his receivers are open, and a lot of these defensive leaders for the Maroons are seniors. They're so well disciplined. They cover so well, and it's a third straight punt for the Valley Tigers.
So now Rico Alvarenga-Cervelin will be on to punt for the Tigers. Back to return for the Maroons is Trey Wilson. Alvarenga-Cervelin gets the punt. It's a high kick. Not much movement to it, and it will take a nice roll out of bounds near the 28-yard line of the Maroons.
That was about an 18-yard bounce. That bounced at about the 45-yard line and went all the way to the 27. Big-time break for the Tigers.
Yeah, that was definitely not a lot of movement to it. Kind of a knuckleball through the air, but it took a great bounce for the Tigers.
And that's one thing that could have gone either way. It could have hit one way and shot right over to the 50-yard line. But for the Tigers, it thankfully hit the 45 and just shot over to the Dowling Tigers and to the Valley Tigers end zone on the left side of the field.
So now the Maroons will have three guys in the backfield. They will have a fullback. And they will have Rashad Davis in the backfield. Two wide receivers out left. Cataldo, shotgun formation, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws it quick left side. That is caught by corner, and he will be pushed forward for a first down to the 40-yard line. Excuse me, that was Hank Brown on the catch.
It's an interesting defensive setup for Valley. There's two Dowling receivers pretty wide out left, and you have junior Cam Krabari, didn't play at all last year, getting his first action, and junior Gage Olson, who was a big part of the defense last year. But you're putting both of those cornerbacks on an island against some really talented Maroon receivers.
And we saw that last week. Their safeties, they like to bring them in, bring pressure, but that leaves their cornerbacks exposed. So I think that shows the trust that they have in their cornerbacks. And here we see it again, two D-backs outright, no safety behind them. So now the Maroons will hand it off to Davis. Not much room in front of him. He'll be brought down for a pickup of 4 yards. Good power running there from Davis.
And that's one thing that Davis is really good at, is just bull rushing right through and forcing as many extra yards as he can. His yards after contact is huge. He has gotten so many yards after contact this season, it's just crazy. Because one tackler missed, two tacklers missed. It takes almost 3 guys to get him down.
So now that'll bring up 2nd and 6 for the Maroons. 9.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Ball is at the 44-yard line. Cataldo in the backfield sends Davis out left, throws a screen pass, caught by Davis. Pressure coming quickly, and he will break a tackle and brought down shoestring tackle by Cam Krabari.
And he can do that. Only had one catch for 8 yards last week. I think it was mostly because his run game was so effective. There was no need to get it to him in the pass game. But he can catch the ball and make plays happen as a receiver. Another point with that, isolating cornerbacks on an island, it also depends which personnel is isolated. Number 2, Isaiah Pinks, one of the senior leaders of this defense, also plays basketball and baseball. He's an athlete. He can probably hold his own out there.
So now the Maroons with spread formation, 5 wide receivers. Cataldo looking, rolls out to his left, pressure coming. He will run it out of bounds and will get a pickup of 2 yards to the 47-yard line.
And that is one thing Cataldo's really good at, is just if once the play dies, he's able to look around, find an open hole, and run. And that is one thing the Tigers offensively have struggled with. They have not been able to, as the quarterbacks, to get out of the pocket and run. And I think that is one thing that Dowling even excelled at last week, that once the pocket broke down, Cataldo was just able to find the hole and get as many yards as he can.
So now the Maroons stacking the right side of the field. 3 receivers out right. Davis in the backfield with Cataldo. Cataldo pulls it back, throws it deep, and it looks like he will overthrow. Looks like it went through his receiver's hands. That could have been a touchdown.
That was Jake Sacco, the junior wide receiver, 6 foot, 180 pounds. And as a junior, that's just unlucky to happen. Like, he had wide open space that would have been a touchdown. It was right almost in the breadbasket. His arms just were open wide, and it fell right through. And it was a good pass. It was a little long, and that is one thing that Cataldo, as a senior quarterback, you don't like to see. You hate to see it from a senior quarterback. But just lucky break for the Tigers, rough break for the Maroons.
So now another empty formation for the Maroons. Cataldo looks downfield, and he will overthrow another receiver trying to go to Hank Brown there. 2 errant passes there from Cataldo will bring up 4th down and 8. And it looks like they will bring on the punt unit here.
So far, I mean, this coverage for the Tigers, to be quite honest, hasn't looked great. And I think last week we saw Connor Moberly, the quarterback for Southeast Polk, also super mobile, was able to make plays with his legs. And some snaps you do have good coverage. Cataldo's able to get out of the pocket, but those last 2 throws he stayed in the pocket and fired to open receivers downfield, but wasn't able to hit him either time.
Yeah, I think last week against Southeast Polk, they overthrew a few guys. Southeast Polk did. And so the Tigers have caught breaks the past 2 weeks. Lucky that neither one of those 2 missed passes turned into a touchdown. Isaiah Panks will get the fair catch at the 12-yard line for the Tigers. Dowling still up 7-0. 8:48 left to play in the first half. Not a lot of offense since the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and that last possession, the Tigers' defense, they just amped up their pressure. They pressured the quarterback enough to make some errant throws. And now the Tigers' offense is looking to capitalize off of that struggle on offense for the Maroons, and they're hoping to get down this field and score. 7-0 ball game. It's very close still, and tied up. This game is really close, not over yet. Ton of ball game left, and just hope to see a great game the rest of the game.
Willett takes the snap. He will hand it off to Damon Head, who will run to the right side. Not much going there, and he will be stopped at the line of scrimmage. No pickup there.
I think this drive is super important for the Valley offense. Although your defense has been able to get some stops on the last couple of possessions, you've seen the Maroons drive down the field, and it's only a matter of time before they score again and make it a 2-score game. You have to get some points eventually if you're this Valley offense. This will be tough starting on your own 12-yard line. But, you got to make some changes and try to move the ball down the field.
So it looks like the ball will be at the 13-yard line. 3 wide receivers left, 1 right for the Tigers. Head in the backfield with Willett. Willett drops back. Pressure coming. Gets a nice halfback screen to Damon Head. He'll be tripped up at the 19-yard line. A pickup of 6 yards there.
And that was some great work by Damon Head. Just getting away from the blockers, getting open, and getting as many yards as he can after the defense swarmed him. And 3rd and 4, 3rd and short, you wonder if the Tigers aren't looking to throw again or if they're going to run again, because their running back game has been pretty solid early today. And so you'll wonder if the Catholics will force run or if they're going to maybe play a little deep.
So now Head will come out of the game. Mason back in. Ball at the 19-yard line. Willett takes a snap, rolls out to his left, has a little bit of space. Pressure coming, throws it deep. He is hit hard. Incomplete pass.
I mean, look who it is in the backfield once again. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's Dylan Manning once again, already with 1.5 sacks. Almost got a second there. And there's really nobody open to throw to if you're Trevor Willett. He's being put in tough positions right there.
There was a good little play-action design there from Gary Swenson, drawing out his quarterback to the left side, giving him a little bit of room. But nobody was open downfield, and he got hit.
And that was almost scary. Just Manning came in there and shot like a rocket right into the quarterback. He just collided, and I was almost afraid that we were going to have another Caleb Jewell moment where 2 quarterbacks go down. But thankfully, Willett's all right.
Alvarenga Cervellin gets an end-over-end kick. Caught at the 40-yard line. It is fumbled, and it falls on the ground. It is recovered by the Tigers.
Oh, my gosh. What a wonderful play. And number 8 for the Catholics corner just did not have a good hold on it, and the Tigers popped it out. And those turnovers have been killer for the Maroons. That's 2 fumbles already, and just the Tigers are able to get on great field position. And last fumble, they didn't work out, and the Tigers are hoping to get a touchdown this time, or at least points on the board.
Yeah, so a punt fumble, just how Gary Swenson drew it up, I'm sure. Punt, fumbled, great job. You could tell there was a lot of Tigers pressuring corner when he caught the ball. If he hadn't there was no way that the Tigers weren't getting the ball when he fumbled it. There was just too many of them back there.
Yeah. And Dowling Catholic almost got a hand on it. 8 corner almost got his hand on it, but the Tiger defense just swarmed on top of him and got the ball. Now there's a flag.
Pre-snap flag here.
We'll see what the call is.
False start, it looks like.
Yep, false start.
Well, and back to how big of a forced turnover that is. Driving down the field, starting on your own 12-yard line last drive for the Valley offense, this disciplined Dowling defense, to be quite honest, has looked elite so far. So I think starting with better field position gives them a much bigger chance, although that false start does not do you any favors starting 1st and 15 here.
Yeah, and I think this has to be deflating for the Dowling defense. You get the stop, fumble it, and now the Tigers have better field position. Definitely takes the wind out of their sails. Willett, low snap, gets it, head up the middle, tackled at the ankles at the 44-yard line. A pickup of 3.
Look to be number 20, Kenyi James, once again, another senior leader, 4.5 tackles last week, already a second today. Another senior leader making a big play.
So now 2nd and 12 after the false start on first down. 6:40 left to go in the first half. Dowling up 7-0 on the Tigers.
2nd and 12 here.
So Head will be in the backfield again with Willett. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Willett takes the snap, looks to his left, throws it over the middle, wide open. A.J. Crowder gets the first down, and he will be tackled forward to the 27-yard line. His first catch of the season.
And I think that's the first time the Tigers have used their tight end. Senior A.J. Crownover is finally active, and you can see just how big these tight ends for the Tigers have been. Just getting, it looks like almost 20 yards on that play, and you can see how crucial it is from the 47 now down to the 27, 44 to the 27.
So now 3 wide receivers right for the Tigers. Willett takes a snap, he hands it off to Head. Shifty move, gets open, gets to the 16-yard line for a first down.
The Tigers are cruising right now. You can see they're getting yards after yards after yards, and it is really crucial in this point. Almost halftime with about 6 minutes till halftime, and they're looking about almost maybe getting on the board soon.
Going back to that last play, these Dowling defensive backs have looked really comfortable covering the Valley receivers. So what do? You switch it up, you find a tight end. I think they should do that more often going forward here.
So now stacking the line with 7 guys. The Tigers will hand it off to Darius Mason-Smith quickly in the backfield, stays on his feet, jukes backwards. He has space running left side. Stiff arm, can't get forward at all, and he'll be stopped at the 19-yard line. A loss of 3. It looked like he could have made a dash for the outside, could have picked up some yards, ends up losing some.
Yeah, and he was very shifty on that play. He was just breaking tackles left and right, staying on his feet, and as a running back, that is what you want to happen. And as a running back coach and offensive coordinator, Kevin Ferguson, he just wants him to stay on his feet and extend the play as long as you want. And he almost got back to the line of scrimmage. 3-yard loss is a lot less than it would have been had he been stepped back in the backfield.
So now 2nd down and 13 from the 19-yard line. Willett takes snap low. Willett gets back on top of it. Another error from the Tigers.
Bad snap, and you wonder if it's a matter of just a lack of chemistry, not having Willett out there to start this game or last game. That center and quarterback need to develop kind of a bond and get what works right for them, and they probably haven't been able to do it as much with Willett not being the starter.
So I'll bring up 3rd down and 22. Not ideal for the Tigers. Look for them to take a shot here. If you turn it over, Dowling's not going to have great field position, so I expect them to go for a long pass here.
I will say, if they can pick up a short gain, at least get in field goal range and get on the board.
So now Willett takes a snap. He'll look to his right, throwing over the middle, off the hands of his receiver, Jaden Brown. Incomplete pass.
There's a little contact that you wonder if there maybe would have been a flag, but I like that call. No flag, just good hard-fought football, and now 30-yard line. You're too close to punt. I know that for sure, but is this a case where you're too far to go for it, and you have to trust the leg of Alvaranga, or you just throw up a prayer and hope to get it and push the Catholics back as far as you can?
It looks like the Tigers' offense, it will stay out there. You have to wonder, maybe they're going to try and get a hard count here, try and get them to move. Only 5 seconds left on the play clock.
They get it off.
He's looking downfield. Pressure coming. Steps up in the pocket. Fumbled. He loses the ball, and it'll be recovered by Dowling. That's not ideal there. Obviously, you don't want to lose the ball. It's at the 32-yard line. He should not have ran that there.
I'm questioning the decision to go for it there. I mean, even if he throws it, you're probably not going to complete it. Why not pin the Maroons back deep? Now they get the ball on their own 32, and you could have pinned them inside their own 10-yard line, but that's worst-case scenario for the Valley offense. You get, a turnover on special teams, get great field position, then a penalty, a run for a loss of 3, and a fumble there. That's not great.
Yeah, I think Willett should have stayed in the pocket. It's 4th and 22. You're not going to get 22 yards on the rush, and he's just putting himself in harm's way. So look for a good stop here from the Tigers. 3:49 left in the first half. 2 running backs in the backfield for the Maroons. Rashad Davis gets the ball up the middle. Nice juke moves. Stiff arm, and he will be brought down by Gage Olson. Pickup of 3 yards there.
Good gang tackle from the Tigers there. Gage Olson and Isaiah Pinks closing down Rashad Davis.
Yeah, he broke 1 to 2, 3 tackles almost, and was finally able to be taken down by Greg Olson. And just, you can see how shifty Rashad Davis is, just finding those one-on-one coverages and just breaking as many tackles as he can. Like I said, his yards after contact is humongous.
So now man in motion, Trey Wilson for the Maroons. 3 wide receivers left. 2nd down and 7. Cataldo looks, throws it over the middle, and it is dropped by Wilson. Pass a little bit low there.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of pre-snap movement and motions, specifically from Trey Wilson, who, as we stated earlier, doesn't have the best size, but he's a great slot receiver with great hands. That throws a little bit off of his body, but a lot of pre-snap movement to free him up.
Yeah, it was low towards his inside knee. Could he have made it? Yes, not ideal placement.
I wonder how much momentum was going to be brought out after that fumble, but the Tiger defense had a big life out there, but you wonder, will it continue?
3rd down and 7. Cataldo alone in the backfield. Pressure coming. Throws it left side. Incomplete pass. And that'll be a 3rd and out for the Maroons. Good job by the Tiger defense to make up for that fumble.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you want for the Tiger defense. Your offense was unable to capitalize off of that short field position, and you just go out there, get off the field as quick as possible, allow for enough time for the offense to get down the field and get on the board. And now you will see how far the Catholics will be able to put the Tigers down, and we'll see if the offense can get down the field this time and score.
So now punter Zach Smid will be on for the Maroons. Gets it. Pretty clean coverage. It is caught by Jaden McGregory. He has a little lane down the left side. Ooh, nice juke move. Pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Some good movement there from Jaden McGregory on what looked to be a not great looking return.
Yeah, and that's what they want out. The Tigers coaches want from McGregory. The shiftiness, that slim build out of him is what they wanted. He's young and he's able to move. He can find those gaps just like Rashad Davis is, and just is able to find the gaps. And you saw there, that was almost going to be a very far lane that the Tigers were going to have to travel, and now it's a very short thanks to that great return.
So now first down and 10 from the Tigers' own 45-yard line, and a timeout will be called by the Maroons.
Maybe that punt return can unlock McGregory a little bit. Only one catch last week, still none today. And being a 4-star, only a sophomore, but still, you'd expect to see a little bit more out of him. I also want to talk about Dowling punter Zach Smid. He had a 23-yard carry last week, 23-yard rush, and he had 5.5 tackles on defense. And he's punting for this team. It just shows you how versatile he is, doing a lot as a senior.
Yeah, last year they had wide receiver Cooper Nicholson doing the punting, so there's quite a few guys on both teams who have the leg to do punting.
Yeah, that's why high school football is so great and so different from the pros and colleges. You have young kids playing multiple positions. We saw Caleb Jewell, the punter, the quarterback, and the way he was moving last week, he was also kind of the running back because they forced him out of the pocket a lot. And so that is one thing, and you see a lot of these players are playing both sides of the defense. We'll see the tight ends going out for the defense and on special teams, just getting as many reps as they can to show the fans and the coaches and scouts how good they are, even at a young age.
So 2:44 left to play in the first half. Valley still scoreless, down 7. Looking to change that here. Willett will hand the ball off to Head. Has a little bit of room left side. Pushes forward. Strong running there. And that'll get him to the 48-yard line of Dowling.
And nearing 2 minutes to go left in the half. Dowling does get the ball to start the second half. It's really crucial for the Tigers to go get some points before the halftime and not get shut out. Good start with about a 7-yard run there from Damon Head.
Yeah, and the rushing has been great for the Tigers.
It'll be second down and 3 here. 2 wide receivers out right, 1 out left. McGregory alone on the left. Willett will hand the ball off to Head again, who's hit hard, but rolls forward for a pickup of 5 yards, a first down for the Tigers.
And I will say, he's running hard. You know, Dowling's bringing a lot of aggressiveness defensively, but Damon Head's meeting every single ounce of it, running hard with his head down, a lot of toughness in that kid.
Yeah, you could tell he uses power on both of those plays, pushing forward, using his legs. He might be met quickly, but he will get a few extra yards. He'll get as many yards as he can. Good, strong running.
Yeah, we've been talking about Rashad Davis all game, but let's not forget Valley Tigers running back.
Screen pass outright off the hands of Jaden Brown. Another sophomore mistake for the Valley Tigers.
It's what can you really do? That looked to be a good play drawn up. They had about 3 lead blockers in front of him. If he could have caught that, squared his body, he could have taken off and had a pretty good gain. I mean, Jaden McGregory, the other sophomore, has dropped a couple passes so far this year. That's the first drop I've seen from Brown, but it's just this lack of experience, I think, from the 2 sophomores.
Yeah, for the support for Brown, it was a high pass, but he just needs to get his hands on it and run as far as he can.
It was catchable. It was a little bit in front. He could have ran with it. Now a jet sweep to Noah Craycraft, who's almost brought down, and he'll be tackled for a big loss. Lots of Maroons there to swallow him up at the 49-yard line, a loss of 6.
And you hate to see that for the Tigers. They had some great momentum going down. They looked like they might have got a couple yards, and then after back-to-back mistakes, 1 drop pass, and now a run that was just doomed from the start, getting pushed back from the 43 now at the 49-yard line. You hope to see that they can maybe get down the line. It's 3rd and long, 3rd and 16. They had the same exact thing, just 3rd and 22 last time. So you'll wonder what will happen down this rest of the minute of this game.
It looks like they're just going to be, we're under a minute now, and now they're going to call a timeout. It's 3rd and 16. Unless they pull off something special, they're going to have a shutout in the first half.
You have to think maybe they'll go for a deep shot. If it doesn't work, punt it, pin them back deep. Don't give them a chance to score.
I'm curious to see what offensive coordinator Kevin Ferguson and head coach Gary Swenson do in the locker room. If you just roll out with the same game plan, you're not going to score more than, 1, maybe 2 times. You got to just find something new. The run game's been decent, but overall you've been stuck behind the chains a lot, and once again at 3rd and 16.
I think the Tigers, going into the second half, they need to focus on getting the ball to their senior receivers, A.J. Crownover and Noah Craycraft. So far, the sophomores, they've shown that they're making mistakes, which you expect from sophomores. You don't expect them to be flawless. but use them in other ways that don't require them catching the ball. Because right now that's where they've struggled. They've been getting open, they just can't make the plays. So look for them to get them in jet sweeps, and like we saw with McGregory on the punt return, making good yards.
Yeah, and that's one thing that the Tigers relied on last week and now this week. They have relied on their defense, and it just hasn't been working out. Their defense has been great this game with only 1 touchdown, but the Tigers' offense needs to get some points on the board to show some success for that defense.
So the Tigers running the ball here with Darius Mason. Pushes forward, a decent run here. Gets about 9 yards, and that not quite field goal range. It'd be a 57-yarder.
We'll see. I mean, unless Dowling's going to call a timeout here, this clock will probably just run down to the end of the half.
What I think the Tigers could do here is wait and do a last-second shot for the end zone. We'll see what they do. The offense is still out there. Looks like they are kind of walking towards the sideline, so they will not take a shot, and the clock will wind down.
And that's just a tough break for the Tigers. A shutout in the first half. Thankfully for them, it's only 7 points, so there's a ton of ball game left in the second half.
Hold up, a timeout will be called with 1 second left on the clock, so the Tigers will go for it here.
And that's a big misunderstanding for myself. I apologize. I thought that they were just going to run out this clock. I think we all did. But with 1 second, to your point, Alex, looks like they're going to throw a deep one and just throw up a prayer.
Yeah, honestly, just not an ideal half. You know, you struggled so much offensively last week, and it looks to have just continued this week for the Tigers' offense, but the defense has come to play and held this really dangerous Dowling offense to 7 points.
Yeah, that's the offense should really be applauding their defense when they get into the locker room. The offense has been fairly disappointing so far. They've had their bright moments, but they have been bailed out several times by Maroon mistakes, a few fumbles, and their defense has really, Valley's defense has really played well.
Absolutely.
So now they'll go with 3 wide receivers right, 1 out left.
Take a shot to the end zone here.
It'll be interesting to see who they go with here. Not a whole lot of size from their receivers.
I'd like to see Noah Craycraft involved.
So Willett drops back. He sends one to the end zone, back corner, and it will be incomplete. Just overthrew everybody. Could have waited a little bit longer to throw it, but I like the aggression there from the Tigers. We'll see if that carries over into the second half.
Yeah, he unleashed that, and he showed what his arm power is. Like, that is why the Tigers are so happy that they have him now and can't wait for the rest of the season, because that arm power is just amazing.
So we are going to go into our halftime break now. So we will be back in about 15 minutes. Be sure to stay tuned to 88.7 KWDM The Point. Stop calling them the Catholics. But they're the Maroons. They're not the Dowling. to 88.7 KWDM The Point, your home for Tiger Athletics. I'm Alex Worth alongside Britton Morrow and Ian Nelson. We are getting ready to bring you second half action from the Valley Tigers versus Dowling Catholic Maroons football game. We got a close game on our hands.
Yeah, we do. This has been a very close game for both teams. It's only a 7-point ball game for the Dowling Catholics are in the lead by 7. And we just hope that this hard-fought game can continue between the Maroons and the Tigers.
I think what you have to be looking out for most coming out of the break is what adjustments this Valley Tigers offense makes. You know, you want to get the ball out to your receivers, Noah Craycraft, maybe use your tight ends. A.J. Crownover had 1 catch in that first half. But it starts up front. This Dowling defensive line has had a lot of penetration and got to Trevor Willett quite a bit. You have to protect him so that you allow him to have time to make those throws.
Yeah, and I think that's something where the Valley defense, they played good, but they caught a few breaks.
Yeah.
There's a few overthrown passes, a few fumbles, and they can't count on Dowling to keep making those mistakes to give Valley those opportunities. Valley's not been able to capitalize on either of the opportunities when they had the ball in Dowling territory off of fumbles. So look for them to make something happen on offense.
Yeah, and the Tigers have had 6 possessions opposed to the Maroons 4, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio between punts on both sides. The Tigers have punted 4 times out of their 6 possessions, and they've had 1 turnover on down, and then their last time it turned into halftime. The Maroons only have had 2 punts, 1 fumble, and a touchdown.
I think you look at those keys to the game pregame for Valley. Number 1, stop the run. They've done a pretty good job of it. Rashad Davis had that touchdown run. He's had his moments, but overall not anywhere near as big as his performance last week against Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Number 2, find consistency at quarterback. I mean, they've done that. Trevor Willett's come in. He is the guy now with the injury to Caleb Jewell. Number 3, take some shots offensively. That's where it gets a little iffy. We haven't seen it as much, and you know, you got to be curious to see if that's going to open up in the second half.
Yeah, Valley's been doing a lot of short power runs. Damon Head's done a great job at both power and speed. He has a great combo there. They've been doing a lot of short passes, which are fine. However, there's been quite a few drops from the Tigers. Jaden Brown and Jaden McGregory have both had issues with dropping the ball. And so if you can get those athletic wide receivers the ball somehow, so jet sweeps, some type of screen passes, that is how you turn short yardage into big yardage.
Yeah, and Damon Head only had 46 yards last week, and they have been looking to increase his use a lot this week, and they have quite a bit. They have made sure to use his mobility, his shiftiness a lot, and the Tigers have been really thankful for how well he has performed. Just when it's been 3rd and long, they have gotten a lot of progress from him and the other running back, Darius Mason.
I think at some point when it comes to the struggles in this Valley passing attack, you know, you can't blame the quarterback. Willett's done, I think, the best job he can. At some point, it's up to, obviously, the play callers, but also the receivers to just get open and demand the ball. You have a lot of talent on that front, but I don't think we've seen it showcased very much.
Yeah, and I think that's something where Dowling has very strong, experienced defensive backs. And
Absolutely.
The Tigers have young, inexperienced wide receivers, so they can't really create the separation that they need to give Willett a clear pass. The O-line, I think, has done a pretty good job of giving him a clean pocket. Obviously, Dowling's defensive line is great. You can't stop every pass rush, but I think they've done a good job of trying to generate some opportunity.
And we've seen a lot of just young mistakes out of these Tigers wide receivers. We've seen some drop passes from both Brown and McGregory, and that's just one thing for, as a sophomore, you can see it a lot. And also with McGregory being new to the team, you wonder if will those new team jitters ever leave, or will we see just a lot more use out of the older wide receivers?
They're about to take the field here for the kickoff, but Dowling's going to get it first, and one way to just install some energy and some life into your offense, if you're the Valley defense, is just get a quick stop. Get off the field quick, get your offense back out there, preferably with solid field position, and let them go to work.
Yeah, they did hold Dowling to a 3 and out in the first half. So look for them to capitalize, because right now they will be pushed back fairly deep. And so if the Tigers can get the ball in their own 40 to 50 yard line, that's pretty ideal position.
Yeah, and you wonder from the Valley defense, they have been pretty much rock solid all game. And that has been a big key for the Tigers all game, is just relying on their defense. But they can't the rest of the second half. They need some more use out of the offense, or they're not going to win this game, because there's no points on the board, and that is because of lack of offensive production.
Yeah, and with the Valley defense, they've been playing good, but eventually they are going to get tired. They're going to get worn down. Dowling last week against Kennedy scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. The Tigers, they cannot let that happen. If they let the lead slip, if they give Dowling the momentum, it's game over. There's no shot for the Tigers. So Rico Alvarenga Cervellin will be on to kick for the Tigers.
Crowd, student section for the Tigers, definitely lively, definitely rowdy, trying to give their team some life here to start the second half.
Yeah, there's two sections full of Valley students. This is by far their favorite game of the year. Rivalry week. There's been a lot of hype coming into this game. It's a pretty close game, which I think a lot of people anticipated. Nobody really thought it was going to be like one team runs away with it. So we'll see what happens in the second half. The kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. So the Maroons will start with the ball on their own 20-yard line.
And we'll just have to wait and see how this Maroon offense is going to look like this second half. Will they continue their, I guess what Southeast Polk did last week, their short conservative passes or runs, and just get as far down the field, because Rashad Davis has been lights out great this game. He has been so good at finding the open gaps and just flying right through it.
So Cataldo will lead the team out onto the field. Davis in the backfield with him. Two wide receivers, one far left, one far right. Cataldo gets the snap. He will hand it off to Davis, who runs left side, sweeps out, and he will be wrapped up by three Tigers who still can't get him down. He will be called down with forward progress. That shows you his strength. Three Tigers trying to get him down, and they still couldn't.
Yeah, to be quite honest, I know they only had 7 points in the first half. I don't think this Maroon offense needs to make many changes. We saw in that first half, there were several times where they had open receivers downfield, and it was just a fraction off, whether it be the throw or miscommunication.
So now Dowling, man in motion, right side. That is caught by number 9, Zach Smith, and he is brought down quickly for a loss by Gage Olson. Looks like they'll lose about 5 yards there.
I'll tell you what, he has been super impressive so far this season. Last season, he stepped in for the back half as a sophomore and began to start at cornerback. Now coming in as a junior, more confidence, one of the leaders of this defense. He's been great, a great play there to set up a 3rd and 8 here for the Maroons.
So now the Maroons will set up with 2 wide receivers far left, 1 on the right side. Ball is at the right hash. Davis in the backfield with Cataldo. Cataldo takes the snap, looks to his left. Not much there, runs up the middle. He will be tackled down, shoestring tackle, just short of the line to gain. A good job by the Tigers to stop him. He had a little bit of open room in front of him.
Yeah, and had it not been for that shoestring tackle, he would have been gone. There was just way too much open space for him to not get as far down. And it looks like they're bringing out that punt team.
So that is exactly what the Tigers needed here. A 3 and out. Perfect.
Absolutely. Going back to that last play, that was number 32, the senior, Theron Castle. Had 5 tackles last game. Definitely a big part of this defense, and a great start to the second half for the Tigers.
Yeah, Theron had 55.5 tackles last year. So he is a key leader for this Tiger defense. And now Smith will get ready for the punt. Play clock winding down. They get the snap off in time. High booming kick, end over end. Looks like it has some backspin to it. It'll roll out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So decent position for the Tigers. Something that they can make something with this field position.
And that's exactly what the Tigers needed. They needed a quick 3 and out to get their offense on the field with relatively good field position to get as much time and as enough ability to get down the field and get on this board. There's still a big fat goose egg on the scoreboard, and they need to erase it.
They had the opportunities, they just couldn't capitalize on them. I think they need to look for Noah Craycraft here or A.J. Crownover. They need the seniority, the senior guys catching the ball. So first and down from the 35. Willett will hand it off to Damon Head. Sweeps right side. Pressure coming. Gets a yard on the pickup. Good job to fight for that 1 yard.
Well, and again, I've mentioned his name quite a bit because he's been so active. That's Dylan Manning in the backfield with first contact there on Head. But going back to this Tigers offense, there's no excuses at this point. You know who your quarterback is. You've had time to adjust in the locker room. If you can't move the ball now, it's a real problem.
So second down and 9 from their own 36-yard line. The Tigers have the ball with 9:10 left on the clock in the third quarter. 2 wide receivers out right. Willett will hand it off to Head again up the middle. Met quickly at the line by Ryan Bobo, the sophomore defensive lineman in there to stop him for a pickup of, looks like 2 yards.
And it's just, you're getting behind the chains again. It sets up a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 here. And now you're almost certainly going to have to throw the football down the field. Dowling's going to be expecting it, and with their elite defensive backs, this will be a tough one to pick up for the Tigers.
And it looks like the Tigers took out tight end Zach Schemper, and they put in wide receiver Dante Shirota. So look for them to go for the true pass attack here.
Triple receivers right here.
It looks like Mason is in the backfield. Willett. Pressure coming, steps forward, throws it over the middle, a wobbly pass, no one there, incomplete.
There was just too much pressure from the Maroon D-line. They just came in, shot in, and even with an extra blocker from Darius Mason, they just put too much pressure on, and that was just a terrible pass and way over the head of any receiver, and that is one thing the Tigers have struggled with all game, and now they have to punt.
That was 2 sophomores there, Mason Beaver and Isaac Beaver. Probably related, I would assume.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah. I've been so impressed with Dowling, whether it's seniors, juniors, or sophomores. Their defensive guys have made some big plays.
Alvarenga Cervellin gets the punt off, and a nice return there from Matthew Corner, making up from his fumble earlier, gets it to the 35-yard line.
And here comes the Dowling offense. I mean, with that, as elite as a group as they are, you just can't give them as many opportunities as they've been given. How many possessions in a row has it been where they've had a chance to go make this a 2-score game? And credits to the Valley defense, they haven't allowed that to happen. We'll see if they can stick with that.
So, and a holding will be called on the Maroons. That'll push them back 10 yards to the 25. Better field position in the eyes of the Tigers.
And that's a big break for the Tigers, and there has not been many flags this game at all, but they have been pretty split up between both teams, and both of these coaching staff have preached about just not having many flags at all, being very disciplined.
Looking to the sideline here, it looks like offensive coordinator Kevin Ferguson is standing in front of the Tigers offense, and I mean, giving him a piece of his mind. To be fair, they've been pretty lackluster. We'll see.
So now the Maroons will actually have the ball at their own 12-yard line because of the holding, 10 yards from the spot. So not ideal position for the Maroons. Cataldo's in the backfield with Davis. He'll hand it off. Davis will run left, brought down at the 18-yard line, a pickup of 6.
You want to be able to tell how athletic some of these people are. That's Jaden McGregory, the wide receiver, number 7, out there on an island one-on-one playing cornerback. I mean, he's a sophomore. He's had his drop issues, but the talent and athleticism is certainly there for the kid.
Yeah, like I've said before, if you can't use him at wide receiver, use him somewhere else.
Yep.
He is such an athlete that his skills can be used at any position on the field. So now second down and 4 from the 18-yard line. Man in motion is Smid, left side. They'll hand it off to Davis, who's met quickly and will be wrapped up, barreled forward, no gain. Maybe a yard there.
That's the middle linebacker, Nick Van Arkel, the senior, 6 tackles last week. And again, I mean, he's really the quarterback of the defense there in the middle, making a big play.
Last week it was Ramez Nada for the Tigers on defense, and now it's just other guys stepping up, and that is what these coaches are wanting from this team. Just more guys to step up and become voices for the defense.
So now going with another spread look, 2 wide receivers right, 3 left. Cataldo alone in the backfield, 3rd down and 3. Cataldo looks downfield, pressure coming, shakes a sack, runs out to the left side, throws it towards the sideline, and it's picked off by the Tigers.
That was a great read by the Tigers. Just force him out of the pocket, make him force a pass, and then get the pick. That is what the Tigers probably wrote up. They might not have counted for the pick, but to make Dante Cataldo uncomfortable and make him throw passes that aren't necessary, and just a pick is exactly what the Tigers needed at this point. Give him some momentum.
And what do you know? It's number 2, the senior, Isaiah Pinks, with the interception. After that, Rashad Davis walked off the field and looked visibly very angry, yelling at his other players and coaches. We'll see what that's about.
Yeah, great job by junior linebacker Ryan Arbab to get into the pocket quick. Didn't get the sack, but he made Cataldo run. So now the Tigers will have the ball 1st and 10 from the Maroon 26-yard line. A.J. Crowner's in the backfield with Willett and Head. Head moves forward, not much going there. Tackled for no gain.
It kind of just feels like we're saying this over and over again. Valley's defense and special teams have been able to create turnover after turnover after turnover and have given this offense a chance. But, you look up at the scoreboard, they're still at 0 points. It needs to change soon.
And the number of possessions, they've had at least, this is their 3rd possession starting in Maroon territory. And to not capitalize on either of the 2 previous ones is disappointing for the Tigers. So Willett takes a snap, looks back to throw, throws it right side, deep downfield, just overthrows McGregory. Looking for the end zone there. Not too much separation, but if it was on the money, McGregory would have caught that.
Nah, that's great coverage there from the senior Jacob Kruger. These Dowling defensive backs just look so comfortable being on an island. They don't really need help. They're comfortable playing one-on-one against these Valley receivers, and it's worked to perfection so far.
And I think that's something where they know that the Tigers like to run the ball. They would much rather leave the wide receivers a little bit more open to protect more against Damon Head, bringing another linebacker in the box.
And so for this game, the Tigers have had 46 almost possessions, opposed to the Dowling only had 23.
Willett throws it left side, overthrows Noah Craycraft out of bounds. That'll bring up 4th down for the Tigers at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, it has to be extremely frustrating for the Valley defense. It's just so many opportunities created. They've played so well against such a good Maroon offense, and another opportunity thrown to the wayside for the Tigers offense.
So now Rico Alvarenga Cervellin will come on to attempt his first field goal of the game. He made 1 last week for the Tigers. This one looks to be a 43-yarder. I believe the one he hit last week was 39. Kick is up. It looks good. No, it's not. Looks like he might have pushed that a little bit to the right.
Yeah, and that's just one thing that you don't want to see out of the Tigers, that they put him into an ability to make the field goal, and it would have been good had it not been a little too far to the side. And as a defense, you've got to be a little upset. You made so many plays to allow so many opportunities and just unable to remove the 0 off the scoreboard. It's just crushing as a defensive player.
Yeah, that kick is hard for any kicker at the high school level. 42 in college pros might be a given, but not in high school. Rashad Davis will get the handoff, and he'll be wrapped up quickly, trying to sweep left with his blockers, tackled for a gain of 1.
We've seen some emotion starting to kind of boil up for some Maroon offensive players. because they've been absolutely held in check today by the Tigers defense, and after dropping 38 points last week, it's definitely like a harsh brought back to reality. And so we'll see if a breakthrough's coming soon, but it doesn't look like it.
5:10 left to go in the third quarter. Dowling still up 7-0. We haven't seen a score since the first 3 minutes of the game. Cataldo will hand it off into the middle for Davis. Not much going there either, swallowed up by that Valley defensive line for a pickup of 2.
And Rashad Davis has been very quiet the rest of the end of the first half to the really majority of the second half. He has not been able to produce as much yards as he was able to at the beginning of the first half, and that's one thing you compliment the Tiger defense, having able to stop the run. That is one thing you said, Britton, as one of the keys to stop the run, and they've been able to do that very well tonight.
That was something last week with Southeast Polk and CJ Phillip. They beat up the front of the Valley defense. So we'll see what they can do here to stop the Maroons on 3rd and 7. Cataldo rolls out to his right, not much open. Gets it completed right side to Brown, but he is tackled quickly.
Great coverage there by number 13, the junior cornerback Cameron Krabari. That's a big-time stop, 3 and out for the Dowling offense.
No gain. He hit him right as he caught that. So that'll bring up 4th and 7. Another 3 and out. Great job by the Tigers defense. Just can't get anything going on offense.
Going back to your point, Alex, last week Southeast Polk had 160 rushing yards, and it seems as if over this week Valley shored up that defensive front and have really held Rashad Davis and this Dowling rushing attack in check.
So now McGregory and Pinks will be back to return the punt. Smid gets it off. It's a line drive, end over end. Caught cleanly by Pinks. Runs it up the middle. Dragged across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Pickup of about 4 yards.
I mean, how many possessions is that where Valley's had starting field position on Dowling's side of the field? And you look at how many times they've had that, still at 0 points.
Yeah, and I think if you give Dowling that field position, they're scoring.
Absolutely.
And that's a great job by Valley's defense to not let them get up the field. Give Valley's offense better starting position, which then gives the Maroons worse starting field position.
The Maroons have started on the Tigers' side of the field once, and that was the time that they scored. The Tigers have started on the Maroon side 3 different times and have not been able to produce a score at all.
So now Willett will hand it off to Head. Shakes a tackle. Nice spin move. He's dragged forward by his offensive lineman. Great job there. 1 yard shy of the line to gain. Big shout out to Derek Ellens. He saw Head. He was kind of blocking him in front, so grabbed him, pulled him forward.
And that's exactly what you want out of your offensive lineman. Just see your guy struggling to get something. You're a big guy, able to grab him and just push him as far as you can. And that camaraderie between these players are key for this team to go down the field and score.
So now 2nd down and 1. Looks like Darius Mason is in the game for the Tigers. Hands it off to Mason. He will get that 1 yard. Not much more. Gets a pickup of 3 yards to the 38-yard line.
Going back to that last run, Derek Ellens with that lead block. He's 6'2", 280 pounds. He's a big man, and he's been playing football really his whole life. And so it's really no surprise to see him as a junior being a key part to this offensive line.
And he played last year, too. Last year, the offensive line was very senior-heavy. He didn't start always, but he got quite a bit of playing time. Good experience and great field IQ there to realize the situation.
And to see a sophomore get, minutes when it's a senior-heavy offensive line speaks to the talent that he has.
So now 1st down and 10 from the 38-yard line. Fakes the handoff. Willett looks to incomplete pass to Noah Craycraft. A good bootleg action there. Looked like Willett actually tripped up a little bit on his bootleg route.
Craycraft was kind of running backwards there, so even if he would have caught it, wouldn't have been a big gain. Zach Smid, the senior cornerback, in coverage there. And also the punter, same guy. A lot of versatility for him. Great coverage there.
So now 2nd down and 10, 2:06 left to play in the third quarter.
This quarter's moving so far.
Yeah, this second half has been very fast. Lots of short yardage stops, which keep the clock running. 2 wide receivers out for the Tigers. Darius Mason in the backfield, and a timeout will be called by Coach Gary Swenson. Maybe a little bit of confusion there. Maybe trying to scheme up something that'll gain him yards.
Yeah, and this is one thing that everybody out here as a fan in the crowd and even on the sidelines have known this was going to be a hard-fought game. We can see it on the scoreboard. It's 7-0. There has not been much productivity on offense at all for either team. This has been a defense-heavy game. And that is one thing here in Iowa. We love to see these corn-fed players just battling out and seeing who really is the best in West Des Moines.
Yeah, and it's weird. A lot of people were saying there will be points this game. That was kind of one of the things where people were saying, like, it's going to be a good game. There's going to be a lot of points. 7-0. There has not been a score in 2.5 quarters.
It's certainly a surprise that Dowling's been held to 7 points. They looked like they probably had the best offense in the state last week, and this speaks to how good Valley's defense is this year.
And the ability by Valley's defense to address the problems and address them quickly, get it fixed for this big rivalry game. A.J. Crownover in motion left side for the Tigers. Willett takes the snap, shovel pass left side to Mason, met quickly, and he will lose 2 yards there. The the Dowling linebackers got there real quick.
What I'm looking for from this Tigers offense is just somebody, whether it's a senior, Damon Head, Noah Craycraft, or one of the young sophomores, somebody needs to make a play. Somebody needs to break a couple tackles, break one loose, and give this offense some life, because right now it looks extremely dormant.
And I think some of that also falls on Coach Gary Swenson. Even last year, his play calling was very conservative, and it's understandable with the young team, but getting into crunch time, you need to make big plays. And now the Tigers are going with a triple wide receiver look out right. And it looks like Ethan Stemler's in at quarterback. He throws a screen pass to Jaden McGregory. He is hit hard. Got about halfway to the sticks. Took a big hit there.
That's really interesting to see. Ethan Stemler, number 12, the junior quarterback, no varsity experience to this point. He was the third string coming into this game, and now you see him on the field.
So yeah, an interesting decision. Trevor Willett looks like he is stretching out on the sideline.
Might be a cramp, I don't know.
It could be working out the calves. We'll see what Stemler can do here, the third quarterback of the game. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left for the Tigers. It looks like Darius Mason is in the backfield. We haven't seen Damon Head in a little while. Stemler looks to his left, short pass to Darius Mason, that's caught, pushes forward, and he is short of the line to gain by about a yard. A good attempt there from the Tigers. Just came up a little bit short, but good to see that they have the aggression.
Well, yeah, and it was just a little too short. That was a great 2 possessions for Ethan Stemler? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ethan Stemler just able to go out there and get almost the 10 yards that they needed.
Yeah, you could tell that they're going with a more screen-heavy look there. It looked like they knew where they were going with the ball. Short passes to Jaden McGregory and Darius Mason. Don't want to put too much pressure on an inexperienced quarterback in these big situations. So the Maroons will take over with the ball at their own 29-yard line. 30 seconds left. Dowling still up 7-0. 3 wide receivers left. Rashad Davis in the backfield with Dante Cataldo. Cataldo takes the snap, hands it off to Davis, who is pushed forward. Pickup of 4 yards there on the carry. Good power run.
I want to hit more on this Ethan Stemler point as we near the end of the third quarter. He's standing at 5'11". Definitely not as good of a quarterback build as you see Trevor Willett have, but I've grown up with him, great friends with him. His work ethic it's second to none, and it's not a surprise to see him getting snaps out there.
And it looked like Rashad Davis's helmet came off on the last play, therefore he will have to step off the field. However, the third quarter will run down, so you might be back for the fourth quarter. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Welcome back to Valley Stadium. We have a close game on our hands, closer than expected. Dowling leading the Valley Tigers 7-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. It's been an interesting game so far.
I want to take a moment to shout out both of these crowds. You're seeing a lot of flashlights pulled out in the dark right now. This is one of the greatest stadiums in high school in the whole state of Iowa, and one of the best environments. I mean, the Valley crowd and the Dowling crowd both showing out. This is, I mean, the bleachers are packed on both sides.
Yeah, and the senior leadership from the Valley student section I know is huge. They really get them going. So those student sections, look for them to play a larger part of the game here in the fourth quarter with tensions high.
And this is the fourth quarter. This is crunch time for both teams. We're going to have to see, will either team be able to score, or will this be the end of the game for both of them?
Dante Cataldo takes a snap, QB sneak. He is met quickly, breaks a tackle, wide open left side. Not many defenders there for the Tigers. Cam Krabari there, wraps him up out of bounds. Not much more you can do there for the Tigers.
Just shows you the mobility of Dante Cataldo. We haven't seen it a ton today, but his ability to evade defenders and just be elusive, man. He gets out and makes plays out of the pocket.
Yeah, you can see the Tigers knew that he was running to the right side. They met him there. He broke a tackle, flipped the field. There was only two defenders on the left side. So there's not really much that you can do there for the Tigers except execute the sack.
No, there is not. And that's just great eyes downfield for Dante Cataldo.
First down and 10 from the 39-yard line. Hand off to Davis. Stumbles forward, spins forward, two flags thrown. Gets the first down to the 44-yard line of the Tigers. But this could be coming back. It came from the back judge, so I would have to assume that it'd be holding.
You do, but regardless of that, that run is so impressive. He just dragged about 3 defenders for 10 yards. Just shows you the strength that he has.
His ability to stay on his feet, spinning around. He might get hit in the leg. He'll spin it off, shake it off like it's nothing. Keep going.
That's why Davis is so good, and that's why we'll be expecting to see him in college.
So it's actually a face mask called on the Tigers.
You're getting into some shaky moments, absolutely. We're nearing 11 minutes left in this game. Dowling now on the Valley 39-yard line. If they go and score here, you make it a 2-possession game. I mean, it'd be a very tough for the Tigers to come back.
So first down and 10 for the Maroons. 2 wide receivers right. They have a fullback in the backfield with Cataldo and Davis. Handoff to Davis up the middle. Stopped quickly by Nick Van Arkel for a pickup of 3.
The fact that Rashad Davis is only a junior and is probably like the strongest guy out on that field when it comes to, pound for pound, it's insane. I mean, you see how good he is this year. Next year when he comes back, it's only going to be better.
And it looks like Ramez Naba, the defensive lineman for the Tigers, is he's on the ground. Not sure what happened there on that play, but we'll be right back after this short injury timeout. Back to Valley Stadium. Ramez Naba was able to get off on his own power, so it'll be second down and 7 now for the Maroons. 11:24 left in the game. Maroons only up 7. Ball on the Valley 36-yard line.
If Ramez Naba is out for the rest of the game, that's a humongous loss for the Tigers. He is a 6'2", 339-pound defensive lineman, and that's just some big body out there for the Tigers that is really needed.
Rashad Davis gets the handoff. A lot of congestion up on the defensive line, only able to pick up 2 yards.
Yeah, Naba's a huge blow because he's the main component of the run defense for the Valley Tigers. And now you take him out, 11 minutes left. We'll see if Dowling's able to just honestly milk the clock and go get into the end zone.
So it'll be 3rd down and 5 from the 34-yard line. We'll see if Dowling goes more conservative, trying to get in field goal range, or if they will try and go for the first down. 2 wide receivers right. They have Smid and Davis in the backfield.
Probably going to see some action with one of those two, certainly.
Smid in motion, right side. Handoff to Davis. Pressure coming, and he is tackled. He was brought forward. We'll see where they mark him short. They'll mark him at the 29-yard line. 31-yard line, short of the line to gain at the 29.
Looked to be a little RPO there. Calzado could decide to either give the handoff up the middle to Davis, which he did, or throw it out to Zach Smid on a wide receiver screen. 4th and 2 here at the Valley 30. I would expect Dowling to go for it.
And it looks like they are going to go for it. Ramez Naba back in the game for the Tigers.
Especially this close at the end of the game. You expect them, it's going to be always 4-down territory, you would expect, especially this close, a 7-0 game.
So now 2 wide receivers out right, Davis in the backfield. Davis gets the handoff. Flag is thrown. Looks like it was a pre-snap penalty as they blew the dead. They blew the play dead. So we'll see what they call here.
I expect a false start most likely by calling it dead.
Yep, false starts. That might change things up here for the Maroons. It'll be 4th down and 7 from the 36.
Most likely, I would expect maybe a punt, or like I said earlier, is this going to be 4-down territory always? And this would be quite a long kick for a field goal, and they're really short for a punt, so I expect them to go for it.
It looks like they are setting up to go for it. They did just take Rashad Davis out of the game.
Well, honestly, I'm not sure if they're worried about giving the ball back to this Valley offense with good field position.
Yeah, they're going with an open look here. 4 receivers, 3 out right, 1 out left. On the left hash mark, Cataldo takes the snap, looks to his left, rolls out to his right. Pressure coming from the Tigers, throws it up, and it is incomplete. The ball was dropped. Can't tell who they had there.
What a play by Ryan Arbob, number 20. The junior linebacker just broke that up.
And it looked like Hank Brown. He made the catch in the air, and then a good job by Arbob there to wrap him up, make him drop the ball. He did not have possession.
These Valley corners have been great all game, except for the fact they've been beaten down the field a bit sometimes, but you can see the strength as the corners just wrapping him up in midair and force him out of bounds so he can't complete the catch. That was a great throw by Dante Catalda, but just an even better play by the Valley Tiger corners.
So now Ethan Stemler is still in the game for the Tigers. 1st and 10, drops back to throw, throws it deep left side, wide open. Noah Craycraft makes the catch.
What a catch.
The 41-yard line of the Maroons. That wasn't a great pass, a little bit of a wobbler, a little bit of a high arc, but Craycraft had a lot of separation.
Wasn't a great pass, but probably still the best throw we've seen all game.
Probably the longest throw that we've seen all game.
That's like the first real snap Ethan Stemler's got, and they take a deep shot. It's complete. What a play.
Yeah, that was a great job by him there. Craycraft had a lot of separation. The ball was a little late getting there, a little slow, but he was able to jump up, get the ball, and get them a first down in the Maroons territory. 1st and 10 from the 41. 3 wide receivers right, 1 left.
The fans are electric now.
Stemler drops back to throw, throws right to A.J. Crownover, who catches it low for a loss of 1. A low pass, not much Crownover can do there.
Number 20, Kenny James, a senior who's been active all game, was right there to make the hit anyway. Wasn't a big gain there, but, I mean, we're seeing a lot more trust, it looks like. And I don't know why. The 3rd-string quarterback from Gary Swenson, he's been in for 3 to 4 snaps, and it looks like they've all been throws.
But I feel like this is kind of a theme that we saw last year, too, was run it, short passes in the first 3 quarters, and now here with under 8.5 minutes left to play in the game, they're taking some shots.
And I really love this play call. I wish they would have done it a little bit earlier.
Darius Mason gets the handoff, and he pushes forward a nice physical run to the 34-yard line.
Big time run.
That'll bring up 3rd and 3.
3rd and manageable here now. You set up with this new quarterback. You know, you can either go short pass or run. It is going to be 4-down territory, so you're going to have 2 snaps to get 3 yards. Very manageable for the Tigers.
I think no matter what, unless they get a drastic sack or holding penalty, they'll go for it on 4th down. And it looks like they'll have 2 wide receivers outright. Crownover in motion, left side. Handoff. Oh, loose ball picked up by Damon Head, and he'll be wrapped up, and he will lose 3 yards there. A low snap, it looked like.
And that's what you're talking about. Now that there was a little miscommunication, drop ball, will they still go for it this far after a loss of 3? I expect them to this close to the end of the game with no points on the board. You have to go for it so that you can stay in this game.
I think we've seen that a couple times, like a miscommunication on the snap. That's probably what you're going to get with changing quarterbacks so often. But it's kind of unexcusable on a big-time 3rd and 3.
So now 4th down and 6 from the 37. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right. Head in the backfield with Stemler. Stemler steps back to throw, looks upfield, throws it left side high, intercepted, looking for A.J. Crownover, and it's picked off by Jacob Kruger running down the right sideline. Tackle made by Stemler, but it will be at the Valley 26-yard line. That's not great there.
That's tough because he was scanning the field and the pressure was starting to close down. He had to get the ball out better than being sacked, but it ends up going over the head of A.J. Crownover, picked off, and now Dowling with a big-time chance to end this game.
Yeah, A.J. Crownover's 6'4". I understand throwing it high to him, but he threw it way over his head. Kruger was right there, and Dowling has the ball now, and that could not have gone worse for the Tigers.
You got to kind of feel for the kid, right? You know, he's never had any varsity experience. His first game is in the 4th quarter in a rivalry game against Dowling. It's tough.
So now 1st down and 10, 6:39 left to play in the game. Handoff to Davis, runs right side, breaks a tackle, and will roll forward close to the line to gain, just short. Pickup of 9 to the 17-yard line of the Tigers.
Yeah, they can milk this game pretty much. I mean, you just got to pick up another 1st down, and ultimately you get a score here, and that'll be wraps on this one.
Now 2nd down and 1, another handoff to Davis, runs right side, gets the 1st down. He'll be wrapped up and tackled by Gage Olson down to the 11-yard line.
And that is not what you want for the Tigers. Like, I can see a turnover on downs would suck, but it would at least put the Maroons far back. Now they're down deep into Valley territory, and that is just plan Z for what you want.
So now 1st down and 10. Cataldo hands it off to Davis. Behind his blockers, breaks forward, brought down at the 4-yard line. 2 yards short of the 1st down for a pickup of 8.
Inside the 5 here, I would be extremely shocked to see anything but a handoff up the middle to Rashad Davis.
Looks like they're picking up the tempo a little bit, trying to catch the Valley defense off guard. Cataldo gets the snap, run right side to Davis, and he will be wrapped around and pulled into the end zone for a touchdown. The first score that we've seen since the 9.5-minute mark of the 1st quarter.
And that's kind of the dagger into the heart of the Tigers. The defense has held strong so much this game. Really had an excellent performance from this defense, but the offense just never was able to get it done, and now it's 14-0 with 5 minutes left in the game.
I think it's definitely still possible for the Tigers, but again, with this offense, they do slow, methodical drives through the first 3 quarters. If you can't score and you go into the 4th quarter, you're doomed. You're trying to play aggressive. You're trying to play catch-up. You can't have that mentality in the 4th quarter. PAT is good, making it 14-0 for Dowling. 5.5 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter. The Tigers really need to make something happen on this upcoming drive.
They need a miracle. I know it's kind of cliche to say, but that is what they need at this point. With 5:31 remaining, down by 2 scores, they've not been able to put any points on the board. And like Alex, you said, it's just the fact that they've been doing slow, methodical plays throughout the first 3 quarters, and now down into the late 4th quarter with no points on the board. This is looking like another Southeast Polk situation where it's just a little, too late.
It's just difficult because now you're throwing your third-string quarterback in and asking him to basically just throw all over the field and just try to catch up, which is not this team's identity, not this offense's identity.
So now Schumacher will get ready to kick off for the Maroons. Back to return for the Tigers is Isaiah Pinks and Noah Craycraft. 5:31 left to play in the game. Dowling looking to pin it in the end zone so the Tigers can't return it for potentially good yardage.
A big kick return here would, I mean, it's kind of what the Tigers need.
A good line drive kick, and that's going into the end zone for a touchback. So the Tigers will get the ball at their own 20. They need to change something quick. They need to, ideally you wouldn't have your third string in, but you need to make big plays.
I don't know how to put it into words, but we've said so much this game, adjusting on the fly and adjusting at halftime and adjusting at the end of the third quarter. You've had a week to adjust because, let's be honest, week one, I know they scored 18 points. That's not bad. The offense looked pretty dormant and not very good. You had a week to adjust, and I think we've only seen a decrease in skill and talent.
And yeah, we haven't seen them adjust in-game. They have stuck with the same game plan throughout the entire game. And now first down at the 20-yard line, handoff to Damon Head, left side, breaks forward he'll be wrapped up forward for a first down. He keeps going. Matthew Hansen, the senior defensive back for Dowling, almost kept giving him more momentum, kept swinging him around, giving him that extra yardage.
Yeah, he was just able to spin. He used the spin move.
And now no huddle here for the Tigers, setting it up for the first down at the 36. Stemler looks over the middle, caught by Noah Craycraft, the senior. Another first down. Tigers quick getting back to the line. Got it up to their own 48-yard line, moving the chains.
This is hurry-up offense for the Tigers right now, just doing very quick movements, which is exactly what they need at this point.
So 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Damon Head in the backfield. 5 minutes left to play in the game. Stemler takes the snap, looks to his right. Good pocket, throws it to a wide-open Craycraft again for a first down, up to the, still going, 39-yard line.
I think the 2 or 3 best throws we've seen all game have come by Ethan Stemler the last 2 drives.
And they've needed Noah Craycraft all game, and this is where he's been. This is where he has shown his seniority. So 2 wide receivers left, 1 right from the 39-yard line. First down and 10. Stemler takes a snap, looks to his left. Screen pass open, doesn't want it. Rolls out to his right. He's got a little bit of space. Runs towards the sideline, push out of bounds at the 32. 3 yards shy of the line to gain. But still, great movement from this Tigers team. They've picked up almost 50 yards in the course of 1 minute.
Yeah, and this is exactly what the Tigers need. They need to get down the field as quick as possible, and Ethan Stemler has been the spark that the Tigers needed, I feel like. Since he's come in, their offense have been moving and grooving.
So now second down and 3 from the 32-yard line. 3 wide receivers left, 1 right. Head in the backfield with Stemler. Stemler drops back, looks left, screen pass to Brown, who runs forward for the first down. He is wrapped forward to the 33-yard line for a first down. Gets it by just a yard, and that will stop the clock momentarily.
Yeah, and he just bulldozed his way through. Jaden Brown is a really good receiver, and once he gets the ball, he's just able to bulldoze his way through.
First down and 10 from the 28. Darius Mason's in the backfield now for the Tigers, taking out Damon Head. Stemler, low snap on the ground. Stemler gets it. And he looks like he will lose maybe half a yard. Great thinking there from Stemler to get on top of that. I'll actually say he got back to the line.
How many times are we going to see a miscommunication on a snap and a mistake? It can't happen as many times as it's happened today, I'll tell you that.
So now going for it again, second down and 10. Good snap this time to Stemler. Looks to his right, throws it. McGregory with his first catch of the game, out of bounds at the 18-yard line.
I could not be more impressed by how Ethan Stemler stepped into this game. I know he threw that interception, but he's bounced back. I mean, he's looked a lot better than any other QB we've seen all year for the Tigers so far.
So McGregory did go out of bounds. They called him 1 yard shy of the line to gain. Third down and 1 from the 19-yard line. Just under 4 minutes left to play.
Jaden Brown limps off injured. Now he's laying down on the sideline, maybe a cramp, but they'll have to play without him.
And that's a big loss for the Tigers, even though he's a sophomore.
3rd down and 1. Low snap again to Semler. Semler runs with it. He'll get the first down. Barely. Oh, we'll see if they give it to him.
I mean, it seems as if every other play,
And they'll call it a 4th down.
the last couple drives, we're saying bad snap. It's just, it just can't happen. It's as simple as that.
That's 4 bad snaps for the Tigers. They need to clean it up here in the 4th. They have 2 wide receivers out left. McGregory alone on the right side. Darius Mason's in the backfield with Ethan Stemler. Clock is under 3:30 now for the game. Stemler takes a snap. He will fake the handoff, and he is swarmed right away by the defensive line. Isaac Beaver and Ian Middleton in there to sack him quickly. He didn't have a chance.
Yeah, that's just a tough situation for Ethan Stemler to be in. You go play action, you try to get the ball out, and you have 2 D linemen closing down on you right away.
And that is last case scenario for the Tigers, and that could potentially end this with only 3 minutes left to go. All Dowling has to do is just run out the clock, and that is a dagger, and you can see it from the sideline and from the fans on the Tiger sideline.
Yeah, I think both teams played a little sloppy. The only difference is Dowling cleaned it up in the second half, and Valley got worse.
I just think Dowling has a lot more talent offensively, and just, I mean, the play calling and execution's better, of course, but they just have those players who make big-time plays that we haven't seen Valley do.
Yep, so 1st down and 10 from the 28-yard line. 2 wide receivers, 1 left, 1 right. Cataldo keeps the ball, runs out to his right. He will take it and will be brought down at the 35-yard line, 3 yards short of the line to gain.
I will say we've seen a lot of run-pass options from Dowling today, but we haven't seen a lot of read options, which is where they can get both Rashad Davis and Dante Caldado used as dangerous in the running game. We saw it there. Caldado kept it and got 6 yards.
It's now 2nd down and 10 from the 35. Under 3 minutes left to play. Letting the clock run down. 15 left on the play clock. They'll probably use up most of that.
And there's just not much you can do for the Tigers.
2 wide receivers left. Davis in the backfield with Cataldo. Cataldo takes a snap, hands it off to Davis, runs it up the middle to the right, and he breaks a few tackles, sheds another one, and is brought down at the ankles at the 40-yard line.
And with the moving of those chains, that'll get them a new set of downs, 1st down. Valley will probably start to use their timeout soon, but it's probably going to be too little, too late, not going to matter.
They had to use one earlier in this half. They only have 2 left. It's most likely game over, barring any unforeseen circumstances on the Dowling Catholic side.
Besides the fact that the Tigers are losing, this has been a great game for both teams, and just some good insight on how well both of these teams are playing defensively.
Cataldo takes the snap, hands it off quickly to Davis, who will be pushed forward and will be stopped by a pile of Valley defenders at the 46-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 5.
And despite being down 14-0, I think there are some positives that this Valley team can take away and take into next week's game. This defense, Rashad Davis has had his moments, but overall, I think for the most part, this defense has done the best it could against him, kept this Dowling offense quiet for the most part. Offensively, maybe you go to Ethan Stemler, he looked good. Maybe you don't. We'll see what the health of Caleb Jewell and Trevor Willett is. But, you know, there are some positives to take away.
They just really need to figure out what their offense is. They have not been able to get the run to work. They've not been able to get the pass to work. You've got to make something.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you do.
Like, I feel like Damon Head has been playing pretty well. There's only so much you can do when the other team knows you're going to run the ball.
Yeah,
when they're expecting the run, you need to find a way to open up the pass and incorporate the pass game so that there's not as much stress on Darius Mason and Damon Head to produce yardage.
Yeah, and that is one thing Valley has struggled with, is just not utilizing the pass game. They have some good arms out there. Even with their third string, you saw that Ethan Stemler was slinging the ball as far as he could and was just allowing for more plays to be played. You could just see that the Tigers were a lot more comfortable when the ball was being thrown, and I think that needs to be utilized a lot more down the line, because those slow, methodical plays aren't working, and those quick, deep, far plays are what has been working for the Tigers offense lately.
It's now 1:08 left in the game. 2nd down and 5. Dowling actually used a timeout there, it looked like. Cataldo in the backfield with Davis. Cataldo will hand it off. Davis runs right side. He will get the first down, and he'll be wrapped up by Cam Krabari 2 yards after picking up the first down.
I think going forward for both teams, Dowling, you got to feel great about getting this road win. You're now 2-0. For Valley, next week you go at Johnston, which is another super tough game. And that's a real chance at starting 0-3, and I know it's 3 top 10 opponents, but 0-3 is 0-3.
And these are even 3 top 5 opponents.
Yeah.
No matter what poll you look at, Southeast Polk, Dowling, and Johnston are all in the top 5.
In the victory formation here.
Yeah.
So
This has been a rough game all game for the Tigers.
So yeah, Valley showed signs of life in the first half, but just uncharacteristic mistakes, unforced errors. How many bad snaps do we have? What, 4 or 5? That cannot happen in these important games against big name teams. You're not going to get those wins with those errors.
Yeah, there could have been more drop passes that we missed because there have been so many, and that is just crucial for the Tigers to improve on that.
And
with those drop passes, they need to find the ability to make some more relationships between the quarterback and the center, because like you said, Britton, that was just a killer, and it caused a lot of 3rd and longs to happen because it happened on 3rd down.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a connection thing between the center and the quarterback. All of the snaps were low. They were at his feet. There's nothing you can do with that. Wastes a play, possibly lose yardage.
You're right.
And this Valley team, there's a lot of first-year starters. That's something that they stress going into the season, is that there's a lot of first-year starters on offense and defense. And so they really needed those leaders to step it up. They need to look more to Noah Craycraft. Because Jaden McGregory's not really getting it done. Jaden Brown, he has his moments, but he also has his bad moments too. They need to find their senior receivers and get yardage.
Now, I will say, I think Dowling's defense, it definitely has potential to be one of the best, if not the best, in the state. You see so many seniors step up. Jacob Kruger had that interception. Zach Smid was contributing all game. Dylan Manning rushing the passer was electric. This defense looks damn good, and I think it's something to look forward to for Valley. You're going to be going against weaker defenses.
Yeah, I think if they can look at this against a strong defense and find ways where they can improve, that will help them later on in the season. And a lot of these guys are sophomores, juniors, making their first varsity starts. They just need to get the experience. Like, this is not the ideal schedule to start the year for Valley. They played the 3 other state semifinalists in the first 3 games. And for these young guys, those are huge situations, lots of pressure on them. So look for them to grow from that.
Yeah, and even last season, they started out slow. So I guess what I'm saying is I hope that they can start building and learn more and just start getting some W's on the schedule. But this is a tough schedule, and you just want to see, will Gary Swenson start learning that maybe the pass is the better play to use instead of the slow runs.
Like, I think the run game works, but it doesn't when you are too dependent on it.
Yeah.
Because I think what we saw from Dowling is they would run the ball, and then Valley would be anticipating the run, and then they hit them with a throw over their heads. And that's something that Valley needs to find a way to incorporate that in their offense, a way to have a double-edged sword where you do power run and then quick throws, get them downfield.
Yeah, it's just way too predictable and easy to scout. Johnston, they'll go to film and they'll prepare all week for the short passes and the runs. And if Valley comes out with the game plan next week of short passes and runs, it's not going to work. We could see another shutout.
And next week, Johnston's offense is really good. Will Nuss, the quarterback, and Jacob Simpson, the 3-star tight end, they have a great connection. And with a big tight end like Simpson, it's hard to find the right guy to guard him. So Valley's defense might not be able to prepare as well for that passing attack, so their offense really needs to step it up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they will work out the quarterback situation. Will they maybe turn to Ethan Stemler because of his arm and his ability to be calm out of the pocket? Or how long will Caleb Jewell be out for the season? Will he be out for the season, a couple of games? And also, what is the health concerns for Trevor Willett? Was it just cramps, or is there something else that is unlooked at?
I mean, there are 3 quarterbacks who could start for this Valley team. So you have to wonder, maybe, is it within the realm of possibility that Willett got benched? We're not down there. We don't know what happened. But he's walking around on his own power. Could it be cramps? Yes. It could be something minor. Or are they looking to find the guy who helps them play at their best? And I think Stemler showed that he is the guy tonight.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And when you start to play like this as an offense, you start to throw blame around. Who's the problem? I truly don't think there's one player or one position group or one of anything that you can blame. Every single position group and every single player out there has made mistakes and has also had good moments. I think everybody needs to improve as a whole.
Yeah, I think that takes accountability, not deflecting the blame, but saying, hey, I messed up. Here's what I need to do better. And I think that is something that if the offense has it, they will get better. But like you said, if they deflect blame, they will not grow as a team.
Yep.
Especially since how young this team is. Last year we saw it was a very senior, junior heavy team. And now we're seeing a lot more juniors and quite a few sophomores playing and starting this game. So we'll see, will the youngness catch up to them, or will that actually help them down the line?
Yeah, we'll see. Those guys will pick up more experience later on in this year, hopefully in the middle of the season where it's a slightly easier schedule. They could get some good reps and good experience in those less stressful situations.
Because you're going to get Johnston next week, and then you're going to have a lot easier of a schedule, and your players will have more experience. And you can start to get a win streak growing and find a groove going into your state qualifiers and potentially even heading into the state tournament.
So that will do it for our broadcast tonight. I'm Alex Worth with Britton Morrow and Ian Nelson. Thank you for joining us for some great football tonight. I believe we will be doing the game next week, but be sure to stay tuned to our social media pages, Twitter and Instagram. We will post if we are doing the game. So yeah, have a great night, everybody. Drive safe and have a great weekend.